In today's video, I'll tell you top 5 mistakes that I did as a videographer in the beginning of my career. Let's go. What's good, guys? My name is Oleg Nikitin and you're watching No Limits On channel, and throughout the first 5 years of my career I didn't use artificial lighting and didn't pay a lot of attention to lighting in general. At first I didn't pay attention to lighting at all. Then I started to realize that I have to place the models in the shot related to the natural light source like a window or the sunlight. And only back in 2016 I did purchase my first lighting kit, which had 2 backlights from KMTV, the Boltzmann lights, and also 100-watt LED panel for 600 LEDs, which I used with a frost frame made out of shower curtain. Nothing too crazy, but still it did work pretty flawlessly. And right now, on like 90% of my shoots, I do use artificial lighting and I have the control over the lighting itself, and I can shape the image, the shadows and the brighter parts of the image. The second big mistake that I did is actually trying to use all the footage that I shot, thus having not as interesting, dynamic and pretty boring long videos. I can confidently say that if I did have a shorter version, like 2 times shorter version of each of my videos, it would be much better and more intense. This is a promo video for an MMA fighter, and we actually did write a track for this video, shoot different scenes according to the audio track. And right now I can definitely say that if we had like 1-minute track or 1.5-minute track, the video would be much more intense, dynamic and diverse. So please guys, only use the best footage that you have and don't try to make the video as long as possible, trying to use each and every shot that you made. My third big mistake is that I didn't think about the editing process while shooting. I did a lot of medium close-ups but didn't do a lot of wide shot or extra wide shot or detailed shot. And during the editing process, it was really hard to cut between those medium close-ups all the time. And also I didn't get the diversity in my shots. And after about 3 years of my filmmaking career, I did start making a lot of detailed shots, wide shots, and I had the diversity in those. And right now I film with editing in mind. I do know that this shot will be cut with the next one and I have to have different focal length, for example. So I'll have a wide shot and then a close-up shot, and then I'll have another medium close-up and then a super wide shot. And one more thing is that in the beginning of my career I didn't have enough of shots. In about 3 years I did have a lot of shots, much more than I do actually need. And right now I do shoot with a shot list. So I have all the shots in the shots list that I have to make, and then I make additional about 30% of the shots, let me say creative shots, and with that technique I hit a sweet spot. One of the biggest mistakes that I made is focusing on gear and not on the skills. Of course, a nice camera and a lens is great, but only if you use it on 100% of its potential. If you think that you'll buy a new lens or a camera and you'll immediately level up your videography game, that's not how it is working. And even to my students, I do not recommend buying new camera while they are not getting 100% of the potential of their previous gear. Even if they only have a smartphone, just look at this footage, guys. You can get pretty stunning results with any smartphone for like 3 to 5 years from now, and in many scenarios you don't even need a camera. I would highly recommend first invest into skills and knowledge, then invest into lighting, and then invest into audio gear, and only afterwards invest into lenses and cameras. For example, in 2016, I did push my Sony a7S II to the limit and invested $10,000 into the Sony FS7 camera, which not only allowed me to shoot in 4K 50 in 10-bit in S-Log, but also it did open a new world of handheld shooting with this camera, brought me new clients and pushed myself to develop new skills. But it wouldn't have such an impact if I didn't push the limit of the Sony a7S II first and then purchase the Sony FS7. And the final mistake that I did is actually I didn't know how to communicate with the client. I didn't know the goals of the video that I'm about to shoot, I didn't know what the client wants from this video, and I didn't know exactly what the client wants to be in the video. And as a result, in the beginning of my career, we had a lot of different editings and post-editings with my clients, and not all of them were really happy. That is why I don't even say a price for my work before I hear the actual needs of a client for this video, what he wants to be in the video and what he wants this video to make in the social networks, etc. Only when I hear all of those points, I can tell the price. And also I need to understand how many hours we're going to be filming and how many hours approximately I'll be spending in the editing process, and of course we have an agreement. And let me tell you the truth, guys, you will make those mistakes if you are just starting out, and it is okay to make them. If you did enjoy this video, smash the like and subscribe buttons and hit the notifications bell, and right here I have my best cameras for beginners, for photo and video, for Sony cameras. I'll see you in that video, guys. Take care. Bye.